believe we are here again with the masks, with everything. Our third pandemic, I think. Or maybe I should say it this way. Can you believe we are here again? Back in the sanctuary at last. Thank goodness we are finally emerging. Or maybe what I really mean is this. Do you believe we are here again? Rosh Hashanah, time to take stock of where we are, of who we have been this year, and who we want to be in the next. Just to be is a blessing. Just to live is holy. That quote by Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, one of the most important theologians and philosophers of the 20th century, a Holocaust survivor, who was also a close friend of Dr. Martin Luther King, who marched in Selma. Just to be is a blessing. Just to live is holy. In some ways, that is all I have wanted to say to you this whole pandemic. Or maybe I should say, I feel like in so many ways, that is what you have been saying to me. In the first year of this pandemic, we read the High Holy Day liturgy with new eyes. We were stuck behind Zoom screens. Our Beth David building empty for the whole holiday, except when we gathered in the parking lot. Social distance, even there, remember that? To hear the shofar on the roof. We were praying for a vaccine that year. We were scared for our health and the health of those we loved. We were scared that we could be the ones to get them sick. Never before had the texts of who shall live and who shall die come alive with such urgency for all of us at the same time. When we prayed on Rosh Hashanah, Kotvenu b'Sefer HaChaim, inscribe us in the book of life, what we meant was keep us alive, keep us safe. Just to be is a blessing. We found our way through those difficult months with more compassion and generosity and creativity than we ever could have thought possible. And phone calls and check-ins, and small deeds and large ones. You inspired me by the way that you were a blessing, and by the way that you found gratitude even in such a dark time. Even through the loneliness, even for so much loss. We were aware of just how precious this is. Just to be is a blessing. Just to live is holy. Last summer, a little more than a year ago, the camper and I planned for High Holy Days in this sanctuary. Jill worked out all of the details. All of you began to live, imagine life post-pandemic. Some of you began to live it. You cracked the door open on so many parts of life that had been closed off. It was joyous. We had tearful reunions with loved ones. We dared to schedule vacations. Much of the time, we didn't even have to cancel them. Summer camps and swimming pools reopened, albeit with new rules. Ordinary things of ordinary life. Just to live is holy. I was buffeted that time by your strength and vivacity. Alongside all of you, I found my way back to what we call living. I danced at my cousin's long home. Then, if you remember it, Delta came and slammed the door in our face for a little while. Hospital rates went up, so did our community. We thought we had survived the pandemic, but it turned out we had survived the beginning of it. We were deflated. We were so tired. We prayed that Rosh Hashanah. Kotvenu b'sefer ha'chayim. God inscribe us in the book of life. And what we meant was, let us get back to living already. Let us get back to the life we love. It was the beginning of the sabbatical year, the year of letting the lie and rest. And speaking from this beacon to what was 1 year ago an empty sanctuary with some cameras, I told you it is okay to be tired. If we haven't let this year lie fallow and lower our expectations, let's see what grows. Just to live is all. And now, here we are again. 3 high holiday seasons and 3 or 4 vaccine shots boosters later. For some of us, other than the masks we're making you wear and yours have that faded, feels like the pandemic is over as far as your life is concerned day to day. For others, you're breathing easier, but still living the weight of this plague and the limitations it places on their lives. But we are emerging with a blessing, and it is holy. Just to be is a blessing, just to live is holy. But although that quote is the most famous part, the words I think I have needed most these 2 years, that quote is in fact taken out of context from the essay in which he wrote it. In their full context, I think those words do powerfully connect with the messages of life that overflow from the high holy days. But while the pieces of the high holy days that seem most salient to me these 2 years were our fervent prayers. Remember us to life, O Lord of delights in life, Zochreinu l'chaim. Kotvenu b'sefer ha'chayim, inscribe us in the book of life. In his longer essay, Heschel focuses instead on the Torah reading that we will be reading on Yom Kippur morning. If the prayers of our liturgy give voice to our questions and pleas to God, then the Torah reading can be understood as a kind of answer, closest we might ever come to an answer. In reading and studying, interpreting Torah, each generation tries to hear God's voice anew. And on Yom Kippur morning, it is as if God gives us an answer to our pleas for life, our prayers that we might be written in the book of life. And the answer is this mandate. Behold, I have put before you life and death, blessing and curse. Choose life. God beseeches us. Just to be in the blessing, just to live is holy, Heschel writes. He continues, and yet, being alive, there's no answer to problems of living. To be or not to be is not the question. The question is how to be and how not to be. Choose life is the great legacy of the Hebrew Bible, Heschel writes. However, life is not a thing, static and final. Life means living. And in life's living, you have to choose a road, direction, goals. The essence of living as a human being, which is being challenged, being tempted, being humble. Like the gift, we are blessed for some short time to receive. A gift we are now more grateful for than ever. And that we pray for with a full-throated song this morning. Our hearts full of hope and longing. But that is not the full story. Life, the Torah tells us, is also a choice you make. If we truly love life, we can't just pray for it. We have to also choose it. I think that this is the sermon you have been teaching me as well. One of the great privileges of being a rabbi is the ways in which I have the honor of hearing so many of your stories. The privilege of being with you at so many moments of life that not everyone else gets to be with you at. You have chosen life in so many ways, so many times in these past few years. And it has been a privilege to accompany you, to witness you, when you knew you were doing it, and sometimes even when you were just living. This year, over the course of my 40 days, I want all of you to hear a few of those stories. So this morning, and on Yom Kippur as well, we will hear a few of the stories, voices from a few members of this congregation, sharing what for them it has meant to choose life, what it means to them to try and choose life in this new year. The writer Oliver Burkeman points out that the average human life is, let's say, absurdly, terrifyingly, insultingly short. If we are blessed to live 80 years old, and we know so too well how many of us will not have that blessing, even then, we will have approximately 4,000 weeks. In his book, 4,000 Weeks, Time Management for Mortals, Bertman describes how he used to be, in his words, who wrote a weekly column reporting on different methods for time management. He asked the kind of questions most of us are used to asking about our time. How do we maximize our time? How do we find time for everything we need to do? But it always seems like we don't have enough time. But over time, Bertman became disenchanted with the entire concept of productivity. The problem with trying to make time for everything that feels important, he writes, is that you definitely never will. Not only, he writes, because our work expands to fill the amount of time we have for its completion, but also because the modern world provides an inexhaustible supply of things that seem worth doing. The result, he writes, is that despite all our busyness, there is a sense that even the privileged among us rarely get around to doing the right things. We sense that there are important, fulfilling ways we could be spending our time, even if we can't say exactly what they are. Yet, we systematically spend our days doing other things instead. Our days are spent not only in distraction, but also in trying to get through tasks in order to get them out of the way, with the result that we live mentally in the future, waiting for when we'll finally get around to what really matters. Life is not that far off someday, the plan in our heads for who we need to be. Our lives are the sum of the choices we make each day and each week about what to give our attention to, who to spend our time with, and what to prioritize. The beginning of the pandemic gave us the gift of realizing that we could stop doing things. As the pandemic wore on, it gave us another gift. the gift of realizing how much we love life, how much we yearn to live, to really live. Melech HaChaim, we call God. A ruler who treasures not riches, not power, but life. And we too, we have learned, have that spark of God within us. We too are the ones who treasure life. This year, can we use our gifts to live the lives we need to live? This year, can we choose to live, to really live? Poet Mary Elder writes, tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? May this be the year that we do it. May this be the year that we will